I was thinking about a friend I have who's a freelancer who, I mean, works as far as I can tell, like just as hard, if not harder than anyone else I know. And one day we were talking about, this was a while back, we were talking about how he does projects. And it's exactly like that. He's like, yeah, if I have this to do, I will sit down on a Wednesday and I will finish it on a Wednesday. And it's like, oh, because I'm similar to you in that the way that I typically operate is like, okay, this thing has to be done on Friday. I'll put an hour into it for 5 days in a row, as opposed to just saying like, hey, I'm just going to sit down and knock it out. So I might give that a shot. That sounds really interesting.
It's also, I don't know if you're dealing with this, but as I'm trying to create content and trying to do things, like there are things like that are locked in. Like we have meetings at certain times on certain days. I'm trying to simultaneously build a habit of working out consistently and being a creator. And it's hard. It's hard for me. I have not done a good job of it with YouTube, honestly. Like I think I've only produced a video 40% of my opportunities since I started. Right. And part of that is because you have all the things you want to do and they're all like, that's important, but it's not urgent. Yeah. And so with this, like, I mentioned I had this agency project and I had an LE project. Well, like I'm already starting on the LE project because I've pretty much finished the agency thing. But what I did was I kind of gave myself permission. It was like, I'm going to do this thing this week and I'm going to do this next thing the next week. And I'm going to do this next thing the next week. And I figured that out. And then I didn't even like think about what are all the tasks that need to be like, because I normally do a brain dump project. I'm just like, nope, I have the projects there. I have them prioritized, but I'm only doing the one. So then I brain dumped it and I started spreading those tasks out across the week. Mm-hmm. And so now what's interesting is like, it's completely changed the momentum because since that's the only thing I have to get done, then I actually have time for these habits that I'm trying to establish, the recurring tasks every week instead of them getting bumped. Mm-hmm. But then the other thing is it is so much better when you have something planned for like today's Thursday and I'm pulling tasks from Friday. Like that feels so good.
So nice.
Instead of pushing
to Monday. Yeah.
And that happened because I already pushed something off. So I just have this feeling that it's going to allow me to get more done. And it forces you to make a choice. I think that's the biggest thing people miss about productivity is you have to make a choice. You have to prioritize. It shouldn't be called productivity. It should be called prioritization. Mm. And so you have to make a choice and then you got to stick to that choice and focus on it. And most people can't do that. And it's hard. I struggle with it.
One thing that I've found that helps with that, I'm a huge fan of Pomodoro timers. And this is one of the things I think I might talk about this in the order bump for the copywriting course, 2K copywriter, check it out. But like Pomodoro timers are basically, if you're not familiar with them, it's a timer that it's like 25 minutes of work and then 5 minutes of rest. And you do that for 4 cycles and then you have a 15-minute break. And then you can go for another round if you want, or you can, do lunch or whatever you need to do. But for me, that sort of like automates that decision, right? Of like, oh, the timer has gone off. It is time to rest. Oh, the timer has started again. It's time to work. And so you don't sort of have to make that decision yourself if you just agree that like, I go by whatever the timer says. And I've found that to make it a bit easier to just knock stuff out.
Here's another one for you that I adapted from a TikTok trend. This is wild. Okay?
Love it.
I started seeing this trend, which was like called the 1 hour challenge. And it was just a bunch of moms, like, how much can I clean in an hour? Like they would set a timer and they would like time lapse video themselves, like cleaning kitchens and stuff. And I saw it maybe 2 or 3 times. I was like, that's interesting. So I just started applying it for work. And so the way you do is like, when you find yourself in a situation where you have something to do and you're like, I don't know where to start, or I don't know what to do, like I need to plan this out. You ever start having those kind of thoughts? Stop, get you a little timer. I have this little thing on my desk, but like you can use your phone. Just as soon as you're like, I don't know where to start, and you find yourself wasting time, set a 30-minute timer on your phone, turn it on, and just go, I'm going to do as much as I can in 30 minutes, and it doesn't matter what it is.
Yep.
And what's funny is that you will just do the things that need to get done for that task. And what's great about this is that most people know exactly what they need to do. It's like weight loss. Everybody knows what they need to do. They just don't do it. And with work and projects, especially as an entrepreneur, like we think that, and I'm a big proponent of planning and all that kind of stuff, but sometimes you're stuck. And so this isn't like an every time thing, but it's when you feel like the time is being wasted. Like if you get 5 minutes into that, just set a 25-minute timer and go. And that urgency, like, and that challenge of just, I'm going to do as much as I can. Not only will you get a lot done, but you'll probably work for beyond the timer, because the timer will go off at an inconvenient time when you're in the middle of something, and you'll keep going, and you'll just find yourself in the zone.
Yeah. It's wild how so much of entrepreneurship is like learning how to make deals with yourself, or sort of like learning how to trick your brain just to get shit done. And we talked about this, or I mentioned this earlier, but like, I think so much of it is just knowing how to get out of your own way, or just knowing how to sort of tell your brain like, hey, we're going to set all of this stuff that we're worried about to the side for the next 25 minutes. And we're going to do work. And then we can check in with all this other stuff after that. But then, I've just found so often, like at the end of that 25 minutes, when you sort of decompress from that, you're more motivated than before, and you're ready to get back into it. So yeah.